Time for the starting lineups, which are brought to us by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com. Malik Harmon is a scorer. Greg Brown, more of a defender. Ollie Jackson, one of the top three-point shooters in the league. And Basil Thompson gets the start for the injured Ronnie Drennan up front. Rob Krimmel in his third year as the head coach at his alma mater. Former star point guard for St. Francis, longtime assistant coach as well. His club has won 2 in a row. Now the starters for the home team, FDU, looking for their 8th win of the season. They have lost 8 games in a row. Entering this one, looking to break the schneid with Anderson Jones. Matt McDonald, a shooter. Earl Potts Jr. and the big guy, Darius Stokes, a graduate student up front. Greg Herenda, the second-year head coach of FDU, closing in on 150 career victories. He was the coach at UMass Lowell prior to being named head man for the Knights last year. He has a very young team, 9 underclassmen that make up 65% of the team's minutes. We are underway here in Hackensack. St. Francis wearing black, and they have it first with Malik Harmon, local kid, sophomore from Queens, New York. Greg Brown. And now to Harmon again. St. Francis more of a half-court team. Ollie Jackson tied up. Gets it back. 10 on the shot clock, and did he travel? Let's see what the call is here from Art Jackson. He's joined by Brian O'Connell and Jeff Clark tonight.
Yeah, that's a shot clock issue right there. Just kind of regroup. The change of possession resets the clock.
And the first possession, exactly what St. Francis is looking for, Timmy. They want to take their time and work and get efficient shots. And FDU almost a turnover there and almost a turnover early. That's what they're looking for in defense, create turnovers.
Well, FDU is #1 in the Northeast Conference in forcing turnovers. They are young, but they are restless and aggressive.
They are indeed. The young and the restless.
Let's see if you're paying attention.
Is Philip Spalding on the front line for them? Why do I know these things?
No, I know.
Here's Basil Thompson. Now to Harmon with 15 on the shot clock. Earl Brown skip pass right into the FDU bench. Good play by Grant Billmeyer, the former Seton Hall center, who is now an assistant coach for Greg Herenda. There's a big Seton Hall flair on that bench. Bruce Hamburger, the former P.J. Carlissimo assistant, is also on the bench for Greg Herenda, who himself was a former Seton Hall assistant coach. Darian Anderson lost it, stolen by Harmon. And the long lead pass, Basil Thompson, the freshman from Philly, in transition.
An excellent vision by Harmon, sees the running St. Francis player ahead of him and makes the pass pretty easy too. Excellent vision there by the sophomore guard out of Christ the King.
Yeah, he didn't hesitate, right? No extra dribbles, just got it up the floor. I think the key matchup is right here as Mustafa Jones knocks it down. That Greg Brown is one of the premier defenders in the NEC, and right there, Mustafa Jones is a guy that if he can light it up, he is a difference maker for FDU.
You're absolutely right. He's 8th in the league in scoring, 6th in three-point shooting, nearly 40% from downtown this year. We're tied at 2.
He's hit some big shots in his career earlier. A Philadelphia native hit a big shot to beat St. Joe.
That's the strange thing about FDU this year. They got off to a great start. They won at St. Joe's. They beat Princeton. They beat Delaware. They won at Towson. And in league play, they've struggled.
Well, they really have increased. How about Greg Herenda? His really, the expectations. He took over this program. How about last year beating Seton Hall and Rutgers in the same week?
Don't remind me. Three-pointer good for Darian Anderson.
And right now, early on, Fairleigh Dickinson looking very comfortable on the perimeter. One-on-one. Mustafa Jones, the first one, and Anderson that time.
I think a start for a young team is critical, don't you think, Dave? I mean, just the fact that FDU, when they're young and you haven't run in a while, critical.
Especially you're home now and you've had a stretch where you struggled. You've lost 8 in a row, and they had fallen behind early in a lot of those games. So the start early is a big key.
St. Francis getting some decent penetration. Ollie Jackson scoring on that last play. And that helped them on Saturday in a matchup between these two schools. Jackson reaches in and fouls Darius Stokes. St. Francis ended up taking 13 more free throws and making 11 more free throws, and that was the big difference in that game, a 5-point win for the Red Flash.
Well, you know, coaches talk about it. These coaches both talked about it. The margin of error for teams in the NEC is so small because the talent is so close. And a lot of times it comes down to making less mistakes or making more shots.
Absolutely. And here's a guy, here's a shot maker, unable to knock it down. Earl Potts trying to be athletic and come down with it. Here's Harmon running the show.
St. Francis with the ball, up by 1 if you're just joining us. 3.5 minutes gone by. At FDU. Ollie Jackson. Now to Earl Brown, operating down low.
And Earl Brown gets the ball inside, and no double. That's bad news for FDU. Look for Earl Brown to finish every time, or look for FDU to start doubling.
He's quick. He's quicker than other bigs in the league, and then he can get out on the perimeter. He can take you off the dribble. The versatility in this game is really impressive.
Potts missed. Goes out of bounds off St. Francis.
The ball goes inside, and no double from FDU, and Earl Brown reacts quickly. The FDU defender defenseless in that play.
Great drive, but too strong from Mustafa Jones, and here come the Red Flash. A 4-on-2 and a traveling violation. That takes us to a timeout. 15:54 left in the first half. Northeast Conference basketball.